Hello, welcome Nicole. I'm Lisa, back from vacation. Glad to be here. As everyone's popping in.
Did you have a good vacation?
Oh, hey, thanks for turning on the camera.
Okay. Did you have a good vacation?
I can't hear you though.
Huh, I wonder why. I'm not muted, I don't think, but anyway, okay.
No. Nicole, you can hear me okay?
I can hear you. You can't hear me?
Okay, I can't hear you. Maybe we need to do a sound check. This was a problem the other night. Okay. Hello, Rainey. Welcome.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Linda.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you as well. Can you hear me?
Okay, Steep is in the building. Should be starting pretty soon. Okay, welcome Ben. Right on time. Okay, folks, Steve is here. We're going to get started in just a second. They're working on some technical difficulties in the back.
Everybody? Yeah. They can chat, they can write their. Okay. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to our last class of this module. Thanks for being here. And for those of you online, that we're trying to figure out how you're able to unmute and speak, but worst case, there's always chat, which we're looking at. Not me, but other people are looking at regularly. All right, so let's get started. Tonight we're going to start with the prayer, and it's the refuge prayer, bodhicitta prayer, is said 3 times. And why is it said 3 times? You increase your motivation for that with each prayer. So with each time, so you can start with it kind of small for yourself, for this life, for the next life, in complete enlightenment. That's one way to look at it. And we're going to use it today to kind of launch into our setting our motivations. So you can say this aloud. It'll be up on the screen, I believe, or it's on page 24, 34 in your books. Or you can meditate on it as Linda or Lisa's going to say this. Refuge and bodhicitta.
Okay. This is taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. We'll recite this 3 times. I go for refuge until I am enlightened, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings.
Okay, so now we're going to start a meditation, but first we'll spend a little bit of time kind of adjusting our motivation. So you can close your eyes if you'd like, or not. But just take a moment to think personally about your motivation, why you've been attending this module. And if it helps to think of something like we talked about last week about prison, and how prisoners do not need to generate a wish to escape usually. They would all like freedom. And then we can examine our own situation here in samsara to see how prison-like it is in an effort to increase our motivation to find a way out and increase our gratitude for the fact that there's instructions to get out. There's a way for us to find our pathway out and help others do the same. So your initial motivation, you can increase it as much as you possibly can, thinking of things like this, thinking that this is your human chance to achieve so much. Even in a minute, you can have incredible thoughts, incredible wishes that contribute in that direction. So setting your motivation for being here tonight and participating and working on this way of refining the tool that will help you get out of this prison, that tool being your own awareness. And practicing meditation is the step to sharpening that tool that will expand your wisdom and your compassion so that you can escape samsara and help others escape. So then we're going to start with the 9-round breathing meditation that we've been doing. I'll just review the first round and then you can complete on your own. You're going to take your right finger, index or whatever finger you want on your right hand, and close your left nostril and inhale through your right and exhale through your left. And as you inhale, imagine pure, crystal clear wisdom energy infusing every single cell in your body. And as you exhale, exhale whatever negativities you want to get rid of at this moment. Pain, discomfort, fatigue, anger. So you do that 3 times. Inhaling through the right, exhaling through the left. And using it with the visualization. And then you'll switch. And you'll inhale through your left nostril, closing your right nostril, and exhaling through your right. Whichever is the opposite. And then the last 3, you'll inhale through both nostrils. That's 1 full round, and we'll do 3 on your own. Do 3 full rounds of each. And once you finish the 9 rounds, just keep meditating all your awareness on your breath for the next 5 minutes. See if you can notice the space between thoughts. See if you can notice a thought arising and just label it, that's a thought, and see if it settles back down like a wave in the ocean. And then resting between those thoughts. And for this last minute, see if you can feel your mind like a fish in the ocean, feeling the ocean. How challenging and yet ever present that is. Okay, then slowly come back, open your eyes. I shouldn't really say come back because you haven't gone away. It's not the point. Before we move on, any questions, comments about your meditation practice since we started this module? there'll be time if you think of something.
If anyone online has a question, you can put it in the chat.
How any success with that idea of looking at your thoughts and trying to see a gap between them? Does that seem, yeah, some? There's basically kind of two different ways of doing that. Is either watching your thoughts like an outside observer, but this other way is actually trying to feel awareness itself, like an ocean. And then again, seeing if you can rest in the space, if that space between thoughts arising can become wider, and what that feels like. It's challenging, but it's also really effective instead of following every thought. And I find it easier for me than counting my breaths. So I should probably work more on counting my breaths. The other thing that I wanted to mention, we've talked a lot about what is meditation, and we talked about the original definition of it being to habituate or to familiarize yourself with something. And we've talked about the different kinds of meditation, but something, we were having a conversation about guided meditations versus solo meditations. And I talked to Geshe-la a little bit about this, and he said, and I was thinking, we talked a little bit about this. This is one of the reasons why in the Lam Rim there's lists of things, and you memorize those things so that then, especially once you've had a teaching on those and you've really gone into detail about, say, the advantages of patience, and again, I didn't think that Geshe-la could talk for a whole weekend about that when he first arrived, but it was quite an amazing teaching. So then you memorize the outline. And then when you're meditating, it's like opening that file. So you've already memorized, say, a list of 10, and then you can sit there and go 1, and then hopefully that will expand some information. And you could also open your eyes and just review, oh yeah. But this is called review meditation. And it's the other thing Geshe-la said to do is to imagine that you're being led, just like you're being led through other meditations, but this time it's Lama Tsongkhapa leading you. And that will also help you stay alert. So give that a try. But that's, review meditation, and it all falls under the whole analytical meditation piece. And we're building the strength of our minds then so that we can concentrate on those topics without it wandering. And then we've been talking before about our experiences when we're doing some of these meditations that I've been leading people through, and how you get like a felt sense of something shifting rather than just a pure intellectual thought about it. Because now you're really back, leading you through something. It's like a little movie, and you're going back and seeing this and contemplating it, and it becomes a whole more holistic understanding of the topic. So I want to talk, we're going to do a little bit about calm abiding meditation in a minute. I don't know if people remembered, but you're going to bring something or have something that you're going to look at, and we have stuff here if you didn't bring something, to use for this experience of calm abiding meditation. But I wanted to read a couple of things. First, just again, why are we meditating? And the image that I always like to just go back to is this ocean, and not getting swept up in the waves, not being at the mercy of the power of the ocean and the chaos of the ocean, but to try to feel the ocean itself. And if I have been able to harness that power, then I'm not going to be floating around and at mercy of the waves. And something His Holiness said that I thought I'd share is, like generally a problem is that in our normal day-to-day life, in our unreflected states of mind, we let ourselves be under the control and domination of our mind, and our mind comes under the domination of afflictive emotions and thoughts. And because of this, it leads to influencing our states of mind on the whole to be overwhelmed with destructive and negative thoughts and emotions, which then just perpetuates the whole cycle. So that's the waves, that's the chaos on the ocean. And the whole reason we're learning to meditate is to get those waves to calm down. And everybody around us will benefit, especially us. But everybody around us will benefit when that's the case. And it doesn't mean that you don't feel your feelings. It just means that you're not being tossed around by them. You're actually seeing them very, very clearly and identifying them and then having compassion for them, but not being tossed around by them or under the influence, especially of negative emotions. And then I really like this one piece I was reading about kind of reviewing how to set up your meditation when you're going to try something like calm abiding. There's different steps and stages of it. And we've been doing some of these, but I like how this was laid out. So the first point is to develop the wish to do calm abiding meditation or any meditation, thinking of its advantages. So you think about, what would be the benefits of this? And we can talk about that in greater detail, but we've talked a little bit about it. So the second point is to just make a determination. Okay, I'm here, I'm going to do it now. I've set aside these 10 minutes this morning or coming to this class tonight, and I'm going to do this. I'll rest my mind on this, whatever it is, this image for the next 10 minutes. And I'm going to do all I can to not lose the object in my visualization. And then the third point is to gradually force the mindfulness that you have onto that object without losing it. But now you're making the effort. So you've thought about the advantages, you're making the determination, and now you're making the effort. And once you're able to actually maintain the image in your mind's eye, the fourth point is to use introspection to check the quality of your concentration. So you've made it through these steps, now you're really checking, how's it going? And then you would apply antidotes to whatever state of awareness that you have. And then the last one is to not over-apply them, because you can then over-apply them and be so aware that you are checking everything that you then lose the object. So it's this kind of tricky balancing act, which you've probably heard of that analogy of, the string, not tightening the string too tight or too loose on an instrument. And I had that experience recently, and I had to do these eye exercises because when I turn to the side, I see double. I just thought that everybody sees double when they look to the side. Apparently, you don't. And so now I have to do these things where I look like, now that's double, and then I make it single. And if I over-apply, it really hurts. But most of the time, I'm way under-applying because it's just double. Then when I was doing that, I was like, oh yeah, the antidote is to go right in the right spot and then apply it so it doesn't hurt, and then it's single. So like that, it's probably a terrible example because nobody's seeing double like I am, but I'm sure there's many examples in your life where you're overdoing it, you're overcorrecting or you're undercorrecting. And so like that, you're the one who can then kind of look at your level of awareness, even in a breathing meditation, and go, okay, I need to apply a little more correction here. Again, maybe it's turning on the light, maybe it's splashing your face with water, or if it's the opposite, that's, I think, a little trickier, but it might be like, okay, now I'm going to really watch my thoughts more carefully because they're tossing me around or I'm following them too much. So let me, what is it that can, actually, this is probably a good, there were more of you in the class in the beginning who said you worry, or not worry, but you suffer from monkey mind rather than the sluggish mind. So has anybody found any helpful antidotes to then loosen that string just a little bit? Anybody? Or are we all like, just really tight strings here? Let's see. Anything? It's probably harder in the ways because you're already following it. Whereas I'm like, I'm about to fall asleep, so I know what to do. I know I need to go splash some water on my face or stand up or something.
Yeah, I found benefit from one of the sessions where you were talking about the different antidotes of the 9-round breathing, on the FPMT meditations. One of the teachers did, the counting method, and so those are antidotes to try to just calm the mind. And then one thing I tried after we talked last time was imagining that the Buddha and all these the teachers are. I just think about them And then that kind of helps me to get my focus back and stop like getting
Right.
lost in the thoughts.
Right. Yeah, that's great. You know, having, that they're witnessing your meditation. Yeah,
Yeah, Nicole says saying mantras settles her monkey mind.
wonderful. Sometimes I think also just slowing down your breath, like becoming aware, instead of not just counting it, but where is it at? How fast is it? What's the pace of it? Maybe I need to take some slower breaths. So you might, count while you're inhaling and just really try to slow it down. Again, that would be the opposite for people who are falling asleep. Anything else? Yeah.
But I tend to have a lot of help from looking straight into a light when I meditate. It seems like it sort of helps keep me awake without having to, engineer some plan to stay awake.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of like a passive benefit. And sometimes my monkey mind, I think, starts from like nodding off and then coming back and, sort of being startled like, oh yeah, I nodded off again. Just trying to avoid that nodding off itself really
Right.
calms it.
Right, interesting. Yeah, I think I was telling people, I think last week, that sometimes it helps me to sit like where the sun is coming in and just have this, I close my eyes, but just that feeling and that light really shifts everything. Another trick I do is like, because we talked before about try to end your session on a high note so that you're like, I had some success. So you're going to want to come back. Don't make it torturous, like I'm going to do this for 3 hours. So I'll trick myself like, okay, as soon as you have some success, you can you can end this. And it's amazing how my mind will snap into shape. And I'm like, that's really interesting of you. Yeah.
John shared that candle would sometimes help him.
Great, yeah. So all, sharing these things is really, really helpful. And let me just get a check of people here. How many people struggle with the dullness and the sleepiness versus, and then we'll do the opposite. Okay, yeah. Okay, it's growing. It's a club. Yeah, and online too, you can, people I can see, you can raise your hand. And the people who have more monkey mind issues. There's another club, yeah. Okay. Yeah, right. It's one or the other, yeah. Well, I think there's nothing like the calm abiding meditation to really see what's going on with your mind, and literally see, because you're trying to focus everything on your mind's eye memory of an object. And there's different stages that I'll talk briefly about, but it's a real instant biofeedback. I don't want it to be frustrating, but I want to introduce it at least in case you're interested in continuing with it, because there's so many benefits to it. I'll stop there and tell you some more about it later. So just briefly, before we enter into it, there's 9 stages of it. Now, it takes, there's a ton somewhere here that shows the stages of calm abiding meditation. And if you have liberation of the palm of your hand, then it's going to give you detailed instruction and teaching on this meditation and the benefits. So in the beginning, I just want to read you the first couple of stages so you can see where we're going. I like this. They're saying at the first stage is, wow, what a mess. That's the first stage. Because one was like, oh my goodness, I could hardly even find the object, because you're going to be kind of looking at this object, memorizing it until you just know every little nook and cranny, and then you're going to try to bring it to your mind's eye. And maybe you will, but it's very, very common that it's hard to even find that, which gives you, like I said, a lot of biofeedback. And let's see, it's similar to the counting of the breath, but it's just more visual, so it's going to be interesting. The first stage of meditating on calm abiding is called placing the mind. And what you're just trying to do is bring your mind to the object in the first place. And most of the session is spent, developing that muscle, trying to bring it back. And that's success if you can do that. The second stage is called placement with continuity, which is one is able to bring the mind on the object and stay for a little while before losing it again, even a second. that's some continuity that you're going to build on. Before there was no continuity at all. It was just like, can I even find the object? Can I even see it? And then it's like placing continuity there for a couple of seconds. And then the next stage is what's called patch-like placement, that you're able to stay on the object for quite a while. I think that's relative, quite a while. But you lose it, and as soon as you lose it, you're aware that you lose it. So then you bring your mind back to it. And then the fourth stage is called close placement. And then there's lots of other descriptions of it. Like I could get to the place where I could hold the object pretty well, but it was not crystal clear. It was like, oh, there's this part and there's that part and there's fuzzy. And so that's that close placement. And, it was like veiled, but I wasn't completely way in left field. I had it, but the mind is still playing tricks. All right. So what it is it's like going to the gym and lifting weights. And it's a way of sharpening that tool that we're talking about, that we're using in all aspects of the path to enlightenment. So then the thing is to pick an object. And as we talked about before, if you're spending all this time on something, it'd be really good to spend it on something virtuous, something that you want closeness with. And as Buddhists, then we're going to pick some holy image, some inspirational image for us. I have a picture of the Dalai Lama that I have as something that Geshe gave me ages ago, so that's what I focus on. But you could pick anything in here just for tonight's exercise. So unless you brought something, then like pick a tanka. And for people online, do you have something with you? If not, I'm going to ask Chris to bring the camera up to the image of the Buddha behind me. Okay, some people have something, I see, okay. Is that good, Chris? Yeah, is it? Okay. All right, so you can either have the one that's on the screen, people, or you can have something. Now, any questions before we get started? All right, so make sure you're comfortable, stretch. We didn't do our relaxation meditation today just because of time, but just, take a good stretch, sip of water, whatever you need to do, get in a comfortable position. Check your posture. Remember, if you're sitting in a chair, you want to have your feet facing forward. And the most important thing is that your spine is aligned, the vertebrae are on top of each other in a nice stack that you don't have to like rigidly control, but it's comfortably aligned. Now you take a look at that object, really, really take a look at it and just spend some time looking at it. You're going to for the most part, you're going to keep your eyes closed once we begin the meditation. You might have to open them once or twice, but try to limit it to like just that once or twice, because it's in your memory bank. It really is, I promise you. All right, so take a moment to really soak it in. And then your hands are either going to be in the meditation mudra or on your knees, your hands on your knees. Most important thing is that your arms are out away from your body, so your breathing is deep. You tuck your chin just slightly so that your entire spine is lined. And you put your tongue gently on the back of your teeth. And then bring your eyes closed. You can have it open just slightly to let some light in. Okay, and then for the next 10 minutes, I'll ring the bell when we're done. You're going to try to, just gently bring all of your awareness. Well, first maybe just take some deep breaths and let your mind settle. This isn't meant to be stressful. It's meant to be just something helpful for you to take a look at your mind and just help it with this exercise. Be kind to yourself. And then as you're ready, you're going to see if you can place the mind on the object that you've been studying. And you'll bring your mind back to that. keep placing it as often as you need to throughout the next 10 minutes. well done. I'm going to get people into small groups just to talk for the next like 7 minutes. So groups of 4, 3 or 4. And here, like groups of 3, just get up and quickly move into those groups and talk a little about what that's like for you so you can hear from other people. It'd be easier to share quickly that way. There's somebody there. Okay, great. Introduce yourselves, and I'll let you know when you have like about 6 minutes. Oh, and people on YouTube, since we can't put you in a group, I want you to write down for yourself, take notes on what was helpful, what was hard, all of your impressions of what you just went through. That's for people on YouTube.
Sound output of that was at 0 on the computer. So maybe you hear those little bitty things. Yeah, that was me moving the volume up. I may have turned that down.
Here, I'll move Rainy.
Like there's 4 people on the screen.
They're seeing each other, so but not the first 3. Ian, there's like Ian, John, and Sue, and some in group 1, but Ian and John are in group 1. Oh. So I put Rainy in a group with number 2.
Okay.
So there's 3 and number 2 and 3 and number 3. The guy who's going, but he doesn't follow. Yeah, he's but he's probably like Carmen. He and Carmen are usually the same.
Oh, okay. Because he's
He's a
there.
little bit elderly and she usually helps him with stuff.
Yeah, that's the extra kink.
Oh, yeah. What we call it. It's very. Sometimes when you're doing trying to, but I open my eyes and check. But I think it's fine. And the first time, almost like scared. For a split second, and then a lot so close. And then the next 2 times, nothing. And then by the 3rd time, I was sitting there, I'm like, oh my gosh. So do it 3 times in a row, it feels
Seems like sometimes I'm entertaining my
And then today, now, I was just doing this because I can't see the Buddha very well. And I was really trying to focus on the space. And I was starting to get this not like that. First, and then I had it was let me just try this. It's like, oh, yeah. And what if it? So just feel like it. Okay. It's hard. So.
I know that feeling. They got off.
Just make it up. Might as well.
Sometimes it's like, oh, everybody else's face is now crystal clear, except the one I'm talking to.
Yeah, I was looking at the image of that, I had that up on the computer. And I just got, it seemed like I was getting bored. And then I caught myself getting bored. And if I looked at it, catch myself looking at something on the table, or but just being conscious that I was getting bored with it.
So were you able to see it? Were you able to place your mind on it?
Right. I mean, that was like.
Well, for a while, but then I would like say to myself, I'd say, this is, I had to look at something else. And I catch myself looking at like the colors around the Buddha on the screen.
Okay, but did you close your eyes and try to do it?
I did that, and that really worked well. I seem to be able to call up, where the thing was on the forehead.
So that's, yeah, because if you just keep your eyes open, you'll probably get bored. But if you can actually place your mind there, even sometimes like I've had a crystal clear vision of it for not a huge amount of time, but enough. And I think that's the closest that pliancy they talk about. It brings this overwhelming kind of calm and beautiful feeling to things. And there's no more effort. It's just like, oh, there it is. And then the whole rest of the day is like that. And so it's the opposite of boredom. It's just like when you look at a mountain, you go, oh wow. But then you get attached to that. You try to bring it back. But now it's like, this thing that I read helped me understand, okay, my mind's there, I don't see it crystal clearly, but it's not moving away from even the halfness of it, or the murky vision of it. It's not like I'm hitting a yawn and thinking about all kinds of stuff. It's right there, but that's good. No, not me. No. I once went away for like 5 days just to try to do it. Being out on the beach. And I divided my day and just keep doing that over and over, and then with reading, and then over and over, and then a little break, and then I was also doing some marching. So the whole day was divided like that. And then by the end, I did have this experience Sometimes I can see one part, and like I know the rest. And then they talk about how the mind will wander and get about, oh, the Buddhist family, and then I just stop thinking. All right, so let people know like they have like a minute and go. Yeah. I said take a minute to kind of wrap up.
Okay, those of you in your breakout rooms, got about another minute, and we'll come back together.
And how many people are on YouTube right now?
YouTube.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Well, thanks for, we're still waiting for people to come back. I'd love to hear people's experiences. Let's just wait till everybody's back from YouTube, from Zoom. I hope it's helpful to talk because it's hard to do that in a mixed hybrid setting and then just one person at a time waiting for the mic. And so I like to get people into groups where you can actually hear from each other and learn from each other and see what the range of experiences were. And thanks for trying this meditation. I think, you'll see with practice, you'll definitely see progress, even though it might not seem like progress. Like I can keep my mind on the object, even though the object looks like it's underwater and it's kind of blurry, at least my mind's there, rather than in the beginning when I can't even find the object. So, and then I'll slip back and up, so but I believe you'll really see incremental progress and have some success with that if you keep it up. Any thoughts or comments? Were you able to place your minds on the object?
Those of you on Zoom, we think we have the issue fixed. You can unmute and wave at us.
And if you're in here, I'll bring you the mic.
Any surprises for yourself, or like were you able to have some experience with this that was helpful? Was it like mine? Like it was very hard to find the object in the beginning? Like, was it just like, whoa? Anybody? No, it was easy? No? No, it was not easy. Okay. Yeah, you want to tell everybody how not easy it was? Because I bet there were a lot of other people who were like, this was not easy. This was like, oh, what did I say? Wow, what a mess. Was it a wow, what a mess? He's back there. I'm making him talk. I appreciate it. Everybody else will appreciate it too.
I was trying to focus on a statuette of the Buddha, and I remember you saying if you can't do the whole thing, try it with the face, with the head. But the problem I had is that by focusing on the head, I could not really see the rest of the body. So I tried focusing in the middle of the body, and I kind of got the head and the top and bottom. And then the monkey mind showed up, and that was about it.
Well, that's huge. Yeah. I mean, because I think what I notice is like, it's not like I'm saying, okay, I'm just going to look at the ear of this photograph. But what happens is that's what's happening. It's like, oh, I see the ear crystal clear. But at least then I don't want us to like put ourselves down for that. That's progress. You know, your mind is at least on the ear rather than way over on some baseball game or something. So it's like, okay, I know the rest is there, and my mind is now placed there. So it will, you know, will with practice expand to the rest of the body. Yeah.
On my kitchen table, and it's on the wall. It's right there by my kitchen table. So every time I eat my meals, I'm able to look at it. And so
Yeah.
I've been in this space for about 8 years, and so it was really easy to bring to mind because I literally studied it, and I didn't realize that it's just interesting that there's an overlap between what I was doing when studying this maze
Yeah.
and this Kadampa.
Right.
So I was able to like kind of bring it up pretty easily.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still noticing that there were, probably when I was thinking about the line of the eyes, it's probably the shapes. When I go home, I'm going to be very curious to see, was I imagining it correctly?
Right.
And what did the ears look like? That was a little fuzzy.
Yeah. Breakfast with Buddha. Yeah, that's a great way to become familiar with it. And, you know, when a person really achieves the final state, I mean, it's crystal clear as though this image is going to talk to you. And the beginning part is just watching, can I develop that ability to keep my mind on it, even if it's not, even if it's patchy, you know, even if it's not, if it's just continuous, you know, but not crystal clear. And then if it's patchy, and then there's all these descriptions in the Lam Rim about what that looks like at these different stages. And I know, like, when it gets to that place that you're aiming for, it doesn't feel effortful. Right now it feels so effortful. It's like me trying to make a single image out of something, right? It's like, it takes a lot of work. But then when it then arises like that, then it's not, it feels, that's why they call it calm abiding. It feels very calm. And there's all this, what's also labeled as mental pliancy. It just feels like, you know, so that's what we're, you know, strengthening that muscle so we can get there. Yeah. Is anybody there that wants to say something? No? Okay. The other thing that I noticed, I worked on this a lot a while ago, and I got to the point where I had pretty good clarity of the image, but only as I exhaled. I noticed that as I inhaled, it would shake, and I would lose, you know, my mind was placed there, but it was very patchy when I would inhale. And I would kind of hold my breath then so that I could see the image longer. And I asked Geshe-la's teacher if that was common. He said, oh yeah, I hadn't read about that. He goes, but that's why we try to, as you exhale, and we try to hold the breath at the end a little bit longer so that you can expand that. So that's also something you might notice. And you might even notice it when you're doing meditating on the nature of the mind or meditating on the breath, just see if there's any difference when you inhale or exhale. I don't know if it's like and it might be the opposite for some people, but I think it's as I inhale, there's new kind of energy coming into my body, and it's just different. So good to kind of keep track of everything. Yeah.
So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because early on in my study of meditation, that was one of the things that I picked up on, was that I had heard that by exhaling first, as you go into meditation, you release all the pent-up energy that's already present. Whereas if you inhale at the very beginning, you kind of suppress all that energy that's built up there. So, I mean, I don't know whether that would be helpful for you or not, but I mean, it seems to work for me because,
Right.
Especially in a stressful situation, right? Because then it's kind of like knowing from my past, I allow that stress to build up, and then explode.
Yeah.
So by preventing it from building up, then I prevent myself from having the more explosive type of
That's
result.
a good, yeah, that's what we're trying to do, prevent that. Yeah, I think, it's just different energy, inhale, exhale, and I could definitely notice it when I was doing this meditation. All right, so we are going to kind of start wrapping up here. If there's any questions, comments, thoughts, this is going to be our last class until there's another module in end of March, or?
Right, the next Presenting the Path starts on March 24th.
Okay. So that'll be the next module. I hope you all take it. And for those of you who are newish, I hope you've come to the center when Geshe is teaching. Just look at the calendar. He teaches Lam Rim on Wednesdays, so we've been talking about things in the Lam Rim. You might be really interested in coming to some of those. And I appreciate all of your time and attention. And, we offer this Discovering Buddhism for free. And if there's donations that you want to make, just write that it was my class that got you to donate, because I'm going to get then a free trip to Hawaii. No, I'm just kidding. But maybe, who knows? But anyway, thank you all for everything you do for the center, and for coming to these classes, and for sharing with each other, because that's really how it's so much. It takes a break off of me, first of all. I'm an introvert, believe it or not, and it benefits everybody to hear your experiences. All right, so think for a minute about, we're going to dedicate all the merit that you all have accumulated by getting yourselves to this class every Monday, which is a feat. And, we've been talking about cause and effect. So, you all have been creating all this energy just by coming to these classes, by thinking about this topic, by trying to meditate, by improving your mind, by thinking about getting out of samsara and benefiting others. And so all of that is not wasted. That effort, those seeds that you've created, ripen somewhere. And so this is your chance to dedicate them and to direct them where you want them to ripen. You may have specific things and people and concerns that you want to dedicate them towards. So think about that for a minute, but also don't forget yourself, because we need all of you to move quickly towards enlightenment. And then hold the door open for me, please. Okay, so we're going to now read Shantideva's prayer, which is much more profound than what I just said. And think of this as another way to dedicate your merit, because it's a really powerful prayer. Just the wish that these things will ever occur is this is what I meant when I said, in 1 minute you can create an incredible amount of merit. Depends on your feeling when you say this prayer, not the words. The person who wrote them already created a lot of merit by his feelings. But joining that and saying it with the same feeling just creates an incredible amount of merit. And now we're creating more merit and dedicating our merit all at the same time.
That's page 246 in the Gold Prayer Book.
Okay.
May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness, and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may these never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you,
All right.
Steve.
Good night.
Steve. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Steve.